Hello everyone, I am Kashish Nagwani from batch 2024, your host this evening. Today we are hosting this live session with the third year students to discuss about the internship and placement scenario in the field of advertising and public relations. We have Chitra Raj, Sirisha Nag, Divyana Das and Shivangi Das Gupta on the panel with us today. Welcome everyone. Can you so let's begin with Chitra. We, you can go ahead and introduce yourself.
Okay, hello everyone. I am Chitra and I am from advertising specialization from third year. I'm also a part of the student council. I'm one of the cultural coordinators and we are involved in the planning and execution of events here.
Shirisha, you can go next.
Hello everyone, I'm Sirisha Nag from third year advertising specialization. I'm the advertising club head and the alumni cell head of college.
Divyana, kindly continue.
Hello everyone, my name is Divyana Das. I'm a third year student in SCMC and I'm the PR club head.
Shivangi, you can go next.
Hello, I'm Shivangi Das Gupta. My specialization is public relations. I'm also the club head of PR and I'm the chairperson of PRCI ICC SCMC chapter.
So you guys have recently done your industry internship. Let's start with that. How has that been?
Our first corporate experience. So to be very honest, I was terrified to enter the corporate world because earlier we had our development sector internship. I'm sorry.
Insia, Joel, kindly mute yourselves. And I just like to, sorry Chitra, to interrupt, but I'd like to just say that we'll take on the questions later after the session. So till then, apart from the speakers, please everyone mute yourselves. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so I was saying that while we had our DSIs, our development sector internship in the first year, that was with an NGO. So, and plus we had an online experience back then. So it wasn't as terrifying, but this time having an industry sector internship and that too an offline one, I was honestly petrified to be entering the world of advertising because whatever we had learned in theory, we had to apply that in practice. And even though I was entering into the field of client servicing, I did not have any idea what the field was, what advertising agencies did. I did know that in theory, but not in practice. So it was terrifying at start. But yeah, we will talk about the journey and it turned out well.
Anyone else would like to go ahead and share their experience?
Mine was an unforgettable experience, honestly. I didn't expect to enjoy the internship as much as I did because it was an offline experience and I really did, like Chitra said, what we actually learned in college was used in practical life, and every decision or everything we did was happening there, hands-on. It was a live experience. So yeah, it was enriching and I loved it. Yeah.
So we have many questions ahead, and I'll begin with the first one. So to begin with, when did you guys notice your inclination towards media and that you wanted to pursue a career in it? Chitra, we can start with you.
Yeah, okay. So for me, I think since the 7th grade, so my inclination towards media does not stem from it being a complex field of advertising and PR. I haven't been an ad kid since childhood. If anything, I was a core Bollywood person and I had to choose anything that inclines my interest and also gets me paid in the running. So yeah, so that's how I decided that I need to enter this one field of media where I get to do what I love and also get paid for it. So that's when I decided that I need to enter the field of media. And yeah, later on, we got to know more about it, about the complexities of it, how being aware today and having an opinion is important. So that's how everything sort of converged towards the media industry, and that helped me like take this decision.
Okay. And what about you, Shirisha?
I was actually a commerce student and I seriously wanted to pursue a BBA degree. But then I heard about it from a friend and I went to the course structure. That's when I realized that marketing is one of the most important parts of any business. So then I thought maybe I should pursue this degree because all the courses really interested me. So yeah, that's why I chose this field. And yeah, it's been a great experience up until now.
That's great. Even I have been a commerce student, and definitely shifting to media has been,
Yeah.
I mean, it's an alternate field altogether, but it's come with my own realizations. So it's been good. Divyana, what about you? How did you get into media?
Okay, so I was never a commerce student. I always knew I was not going to go into science either. Humanities was always my field. I actually initially, till class 10, I think I was very sure that I'm going to work in journalism. Like I would take up journalism for sure. And then we had like a few more, we had these things in school called career fairs. So we used to have like career counselors also come over and, they used to like analyze our, aptitude and everything like that. So they said I had an aptitude to become a lawyer. And then I was like, why? And then they said it's because I have really great people skills, apparently. Then I said, but I don't want to do law. And then they said that another career I can look into is mass communication. And then in the 12th grade, we had to do an internship. So they were trying to prepare us for college because all colleges now have like practical courses where they do have internships. Every college has a compulsory internship period, right? So they said they wanted to groom us from school itself. So therefore, I went for this. I went to work at a corporate communications office, and I think that's when I really, really realized like, okay, there's so much more to mass communication, and I really fell in love with public relations. And then I came to SCMC, and then I'm in public relations specialization now. So yeah, that's my journey.
Wow, that's amazing. And Shivangi, I know your love for PR. So tell us how you developed it and how that realization sort of kicked in.
I'll be very honest. In the beginning, I did not know anything about PR. Like my story is a lot similar to Divyana's, but it's not. It's also very different. So in eighth, I wanted to do science. I was like, I want to do bio. And after that, I think in 10th standard, we had an internship thingy in our college, in our school. So I went to TOI for like 3 weeks and we had a full blown course. They used to do workshops and they taught us everything about media. And I was like, oh my God, I have to do journalism. Now I'm going to be a journalist. And then when I came to the college and like right before it, when I started researching about media, because it's a very vast field that we know very less about. Because in school, you aren't really taught about what mass communication entails, like you know that it exists, but people only think of, oh, either films or she's going to do journalism. There are not many other options that people know about. So while researching, I found out about public relations. And then in college, in the first semester, I think that is when I actually fell in love with PR. Like this is something that I want to do because this is something that really interests me and puts everything that I like into use as well as challenges me at the same time. So yeah, that's how I fell in love with PR.
Wow, that's amazing. And also the fact that, even when you're sure that you want to get into this particular field, I felt myself as a first year student back in the last semester that when I entered, even I had a very clear vision of what I wanted to do. But when I came to SCMC, there were lots of subjects in our semester, and it confused me a lot. So for you, what has been those factors in like particularly selecting and choosing your specialization where you were just sure that these are the factors and I'm going to choose this field only? Let's start with you, Chitra.
Yeah, so like I said, ever since like childhood, I wanted to pursue something in the film industry, basically. So, but we had online college. So I had joined SCMC with the vision of doing films or journalism because that's the common stereotype that goes around that agar mass communication kar rahi hai to wo jo TV pe reporter aa rahe honge, that's that person, you doing mass communication. But yeah, so journalism was in the running and I had to pursue film, so I had to look at AV side of it as our college offers. And advertising was never in the running. I never wanted to, I never knew a lot about advertising. But then we had online college and I did not know a single thing about camera, about editing, the pre and the post production bits of filmmaking. But and then in the first semester we had this subject called Essentials of Marketing Management. Now, I have never been a commerce kid either. So everything I learned was from scratch. We had this one assignment, I remember, of designing a product and doing the 7 Ps along it. And I loved that assignment. So then I got to know, okay, I can probably try advertising. People said I'm good with words in terms of copy. So yeah, that's how the interest grew. And then I got to know, oh, okay, ad films bhi to bana sakte hain. So I sort of like made an amalgam of my interest and what was offered to me. And I'm very glad that I chose advertising, in fact. So yeah, that's how it happened.
And how was it for you, Shivangi? Like you said that you went to and you got exposed to it before your college, before you entered college. But in college, were there some factors that really helped you in seeing a planned future in PR?
So, firstly, in the first semester, when we had club sessions and the introduction to all clubs, at that time, I think the PR club heads of that year did an activity for us where they would just name things that are going wrong with brands, and we had to somehow defend it. And I was like, oh, this is really challenging. And I would like to do it because it challenges me and it is fun. It is fun to just tell people something else while something else is going on. So yeah, that was one of the things that attracted me to it, because after that, when we actually started studying about it, is when I realized that there is so much more to it. Like events fall under it, and I love doing events. I have been in all events of college, so events fall under it, and you get
We
to
know
work with
that.
brands. We have to work with brands, and brands are so this is something that really attracted me to PR, that we were taught that brands are not just, they just don't put out communication. You can actually reply to the content. So it's always a two-way process. It's a two-way street. So that is where I realized that, oh, yani hum bhi bol sakte hain aur wo bhi kuch bol sakte hain humko. So I think that is what got me to it, because we had a class for intro to PR, and over there we had this one exercise where ma'am had given us a case study, and after that we had to just tell that what were the touch points that they wanted to actually say, and how did the audience receive it. So I think that's what attracted me to it.
And what about you, Divyana?
So I see, the thing is, for me, I always knew I wanted to do PR and I wanted to get into the PR, especially that's why I joined SCMC per se. But I would say that there have been a lot of times when I have thought to myself whether like what I'm doing is, am I in the right field or not?
That's always the continuous,
Yeah.
that the cycle just goes on and on.
It's like every time, because every time, exactly like Shivangi said, I don't have a commerce background, like Chitra also said, like we don't have a commerce background. So when it's like when we have these marketing subjects, all these com management subjects, I'm like, इससे अच्छा तो BBA कर लेती मैं. Like it's a whole like question every time. And there was even this time when I actually considered even going to AV, and a lot of people told me I'm a very like AV kid apparently. But then when this semester, like this third year started for us, it was finally like fully offline, and we had our specialization classes, and I just fell in love with PR all over again and know everything about it. And our HOD is amazing. So it was just like, okay, this is what I signed up for. And then it just all just falls into place. But I think for like first years and second years now, I'm happy for them, because I think they're really lucky in the sense that they get to experience all of the subjects much more, in a much more hands-on manner. So it's going to be a very different experience for them compared to, I think, our batch. So at least for them, I think it'll be a little bit easier than us to actually decide like, okay, I want to do this for the rest of my life, maybe.
Definitely, I think offline experience helps you a lot. That I experienced just after coming to college. From first semester to second semester, it was a whole different story. So yes, batch 25 is very, very lucky to be having offline classes from the start. Now, my fellow commerce student, we had commerce. Now, why
Yeah.
marketing for you? Why advertising for you? And why not PR?
Okay, yeah. That's actually when I came in, I thought I'll do advertising, my life sorted and all of that. Then the first thing that the senior said was, don't make a decision now. Go through the process, study all the subjects, and then let college make the decision for you. Like you know through the entire process. But then, yeah, so in my second year, I knew it's going to be com management because I couldn't deal with art subjects at all, be it sociology or political science. It wasn't my thing. So, and I actually ended up scoring more in public relations. So I thought maybe, I should just do PR because, like Shivangi said, the entire idea of pretending, not pretending, but just having the power to convey or communicate from the brand's perspective and the entire thing of crisis management, that really excited me. But then I realized that, you know what, it's advertising for me. That's where my passion lies. And yeah, the faculty actually played a great role in helping me choose. So that's why I ended up choosing advertising, following my
Definitely.
passion. Yeah, that's it.
Definitely. And I feel internships also help you a lot in deciding what you want to do. It is especially the internships when you decide to do them that you get hands-on experience with that, okay, fine, this is what I truly love to do. And this is something that I would like to do, but not so maybe. So coming on to internship and placement questions now. When you joined SCMC, what were your expectations from the internships and extracurricular activities at SCMC? And how has your experience been so far? We'll begin with Shivangi.
So when I joined SCMC, like I joined SCMC because Symbiosis is not just a college, it's a brand. So that is the reason that I chose SCMC over any other college in India. Because you already know that it is not just so even when other brands come to SCMC for placements, they don't come here because, oh, it's just another college in India. They come here because they know the quality of students this college produces. So this was one of the first reasons that attracted me to SCMC, because their internship structure and the way they try to give us a hands-on experience of each subject. So even during our DSIs, we did get to do everything. Like I am not an AV student. I cannot do anything AV. I have a huge amount of respect for people who pursue AV, but I cannot do it. So even then, in my DSI, I actually had to do video editing. So it gave me an experience of it, which also made me decide that, okay, AV is not for me. Let's stay away from the camera. So yeah, that was one of the reasons that I chose SCMC. And yes, internships do play a very big role when you're choosing your specialization. Like yeah, I had obviously decided that yes, I have to do PR and everything, but it wasn't a concrete decision in the first semester. It only became a concrete decision in the second semester when I did do I did a project on my own with a PR agency called Gutenberg LLC. So over there, when I started working with them, and I realized that this is what the daily life of a PR professional looks like. I was like, oh, this is really interesting. I can do this. This is a 9 to 5 thing, yes, but we somehow romanticize the corporate life a lot, and climbing up the ladder is something I would really enjoy. So that is how I got into it. Those internships actually helped me make the concrete decision that yes, I want to do PR.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, for me as well, what I feel that stability is important and having a structured in your daily day-to-day life and also in long term as well, it really helps you and makes me very balanced. So coming on to you, Shirisha, how did internships help you and how the projects and assignments that we get in SCMC during the entire semester, how did they help you in deciding what you want to do in advertising or that you wanted to pursue it?
Okay, so we had this course called media planning. It was a course on media planning. I honestly loved the course. It was all about crunching numbers, about media placements, targeting, and I think the entire class just knew how much I love this subject. That's when I knew like advertising is for me. And honestly, I used that particular project that we had during my internship. I was working with this brand called MMPC PAMP, and I helped our seniors devise an entire media plan. So like that, there was a subject called consumer behavior that helped me study the consumer insights for a variety of marketing campaigns in my internship. So every course that we have it for a reason. and in some way or the other, I've related it with my industry experience. So yeah, it's pretty much very similar. Whatever we're learning, we are going to use it in future. So that's how I realized that advertising related subjects or interested me, and my past internship was where I applied it. So pretty much made the decision that way.
Definitely, I feel the courses, the way they are taught in SCMC, and obviously the professors, how they teach it, they also make it so much more fun, and it sort of helps you to realize, okay, this thing, this particular niche is very interesting in this particular field. So, what about you, Divyana? Like, how has SCMC met your expectations, or was it completely different from what you thought it would be?
Okay, firstly, can I just I just want to appreciate the panel here right now, because I love how diverse our expectations and what we like doing is, because like for someone it's about this, it's about the hustle, climbing the ladder, the corporate ladder, and then there's someone who loves crunching numbers. I hate numbers personally. I cannot deal with numbers. And I think that was the biggest reality check I got when I went into internships, because in my head I was like, oh my God, I'm going to be so creative. I'm going to be coming up with ideas every few seconds. And then it's like the reality is, no, you have to start at at a more like core and a basic level. But the thing is, I think that's what I experienced through SCMC, is that I had that my expectations were honestly to be very quite unrealistic. Honestly, I was like, every moment we're just thinking of creative projects, but no, it's a lot about actually just learning to balance. It's a lot about finding that balance for yourself between your own professional self and your personal self. We do a lot of
Definitely.
things. We do a lot of things in our daily lives every single day, even from juggling assignments while doing degree films. Everything, like, it comes into like, it builds you as a person, it builds character, I think. And so in that context, I think these kind of internships, I was very glad, because I was very excited for my first internship as well. And at least for internships so far, I think they have come through on my expectations, because I've been able to like apply what I've learned obviously in classes, and also learn a lot more. And I think that is one benefit that our batch at least got, because we were mostly online, so we got a lot more time to explore other internships in our own personal time as well. And then even projects in SCMC. So there was this one project, I think we had this event with a company called Entrepreneur. And so I went to host an event, which Chitra was with me. And the thing is, I wanted to get into event management, but I wasn't sure, because I had no like professional, you know, uh, professional connect with it per se. I've never really gone for one officially. So this was the first official event I've actually gone to help out and to host. And it was an amazing experience. It was very tiring. By the end of it, I wanted to chop my feet off. Honestly, it was very tiring, but it was so amazing just to like see everything, come to life finally. That's like the goal, the final result that you've helped create. So I think in that sense, that if you can feel that at the end of the day, after whatever you've done, regardless whether it's crunching numbers, whether it's sending out a press releases, whatever it is, at the end of the day, if you can feel that gratitude looking at your work, I think that's what makes it really worth it.
So, like Divyana said, like juggling all the things is definitely a task and a skill that everyone eventually learns. So, do you feel, Chitra, that when you were doing internships and at the same time also handling your assignments, was it pressurizing and overwhelming at times?
I mean, yeah. So the simple answer would be yes, but to elaborate on that, when we did go for our internships, it was a 2 month industry internship period, right? So I went to Bombay for it, and it was my first time experiencing Bombay. Now, jitna bhi romanticize kiya hai Bollywood ne Bombay ko, please, everyone who's hearing it, and I'm very sure my fellow panelists agree that Bombay is not that romantic. So yeah, even if you go there with that vision of wake up sit in your head and sitting on Marine Drive, I did do that, but after a very tiring day at work. So there are a lot of expectations, juggling things, managing assignments. That time we had an off from college, but we also had elections of our junior council members happening. So that was happening. The entire back end work of events started right then. So juggling that with internship became a little difficult, but also this is where the factor of choice comes in here with SCMC, which is like the most beautiful thing I would say is that even after our first year, when we had our first DSI, development sector internship, we could choose the organization we want to apply in, and we could choose the sector we want to experience, because first year is a blend of everything. So I chose Mental Health Action Trust, MHAT Kerala, to intern with, and in social media marketing. So even if I was taking a core marketing or advertising field to intern in, I chose something that I was passionate about, because MHAT works towards normalizing mental health, towards breaking all the taboos that go across having therapies, and it provides therapy that's free of cost to people who need it. So you get to blend your passion or your interest along with something that's complex, or where you want to explore yourself in. So even if the juggling does become a little difficult or tiring with you at times, it's rewarding at the end of the day, because there's that satisfaction that I am doing what I like. And if you
Definitely.
are able to incline your passion, your interest with the field of pursuit, then that satisfaction is worth everything.
So I'll follow you up with another question. Now, like you said, it's very gratifying when you're very tired, but still you have had a day where you have done something that you truly and absolutely love. Now, what would you say that the projects that you have done in SCMC, or you have done it during these 2 years, and you have got hands-on experience with? So, like, have how have they helped you in your internship?
So I think the biggest learning was, I have always been a people's person, but communicating with different sort of people in different domains requires different sort of skills. Like in filmmaking, we have to be not very diplomatic about things, but in branding and advertising, you have to be diplomatic at times, even if you have the most creative ideas. To articulate it becomes very important, and to articulate it correctly, you have to have your thoughts gathered. So the biggest learning was the interpersonal skills that gets developed as a part of pursuing your projects here. Like Divyana said, we were part of Entrepreneur. Now that was very tiring. It began at 11 in the morning and ended at 2 or 3 in the morning the next day. So it was a tiring experience, but experiencing event management was something different, because we got to speak to a lot of people from all across fields. There were people who came internationally. So yeah, like dealing with them and talking to them, knowing about different set of experiences, that builds your interpersonal skills. So the biggest learning would be the good communication skills. That's very important in any of the media fields, whatever you choose.
Definitely. I feel that the communication, how to communicate with different sorts of people for different sorts of things. I learned that after coming to college, because literally I was clueless. I used to think that I cannot communicate, and right now I'm also handling an event and where I'm communicating with people through mails and also calling them. So that's really helped me. Now, Divyana, what would you say? Like, has there been a certain project or certain something that you have done in during your entire 2 years that you have been here that has really helped you in your internship?
Um, so if you're talking about, like, I think okay, there are three things I'd talk about. Okay, let's begin with the most basic. I think I talk a lot out here. I'm not even kidding. So let's begin with the most basic and the core. It's assignments, group assignments. It's actually very funny, but then, when your teacher says that you have to learn how to work with other people, and I'll be very honest. I'm not trying to be a teacher's pet, but they're being honest. It's true, because I remember the first assignment I had was for theater. We had a group assignment, and we had a group. It was filled with people I didn't know, I didn't talk to, and it was so chaotic. It was so chaotic, but we did such a good job, because you see, when you meet other people, the thing is, when you're with your friends, right, you see you're all coming from the same, same kind of mindset. You'll have the same kind of likes and dislikes, right? So at the end of the day, you're not allowed to explore more that you are possibly capable of. So when you're working with different people, firstly, it's amazing to get to know more people in your own batch, and then to get to see how each person thinks. It's an amazing experience, and you learn a lot, honestly. And I learned, okay, like there are people coming from like, there are people who have, they're like people who have stayed abroad, studied abroad, come from different education systems, and everything is just the way they think is very different from us. So that's very, that was, I think, the first thing that really made it awe-inspiring. And it went to the point where I actually look forward to being put in groups with other people, rather than my own friends as well. They're going to kill me after this. But yeah, secondly, was the first DSI like internship I had. I worked with a very small company. It's called Nata Foundation. It's based in Mumbai, and the owner, her daughter is a CMC alumni. So that's how like we got the whole connect and everything. And it was amazing because like she was such an amazing guide. Like shout out to Prashita, because she taught us so many things, starting from something as basic as email etiquette. And it really helped me till now. Like it's really built up, because you start from somewhere and then you build it up, right? So I think my skills that they are right now at this point, the confidence I'm getting when I'm doing other internships, I think it started somewhere there. And then thirdly was the entrepreneur experience, because that was completely hands-on, and I've already spoken about that. So I think these were the three defining experiences, I think, that have really helped me pursue whatever I'm pursuing right now as I am.
Yeah. And what about you, Shirisha? Like, what have been those projects, hands-on, where you've got hands-on experience that has really helped you?
Rather than projects, it's about the deadlines to meet projects. Actually, we are given quite some time to meet our deadlines in college, but I still wait for the last minute to do my stuff because I just feel like I work best under pressure. But that came handy when I did my internships because the first one was online. So my reporting authority used to call at the random time during the day and be like, okay, this is your task, you have 30 minutes to complete it. And then I'd sit and brainstorm and do an entire task. Even with my industry internship, we were given constant tasks one after the other. So yeah, my ability to do tasks or assignments or activities grew because of my assignments, because I knew that I could work in a short period of time and I could give it my best. It's actually assignments and everything helped me practice. And yeah, and I think that's a valuable skill set that I got in because of that.
And what about you, Shivangi?
So, like I already said, beginning with the first experience that actually, so when I was at Gutenberg, the mentors, I have always been very lucky with mentors. So the first thing that happened to me was like, oh shit, corporate world. I don't know what they're expecting of me. I'm just a first year student. I had all of that in my mind. And when you think about the corporate world, you think of this cutthroat environment where everyone is trying to get each other. But it's not actually that. And I learned that through my mentors who were so nice to me because I was just a first year student, right? So they literally taught me everything and they made sure that I was just not stuck doing one thing that I have already learned. They wanted me to learn different things. They wanted me to be ready as an employee of any company. That I mean, they put me through everything. Like if you want to write an email, talk to the client directly. You want to know about that, talk to the journalist directly. Don't ask for our permission. Try to do things on your own, take initiative. So I think that was the first defining moment for me. Second would be all the events in college. I know they are extracurriculars and all, but when you are organizing it, when you are in it, like when you have to do everything on the day of the execution, when you're just looking at, oh shit, oh that is going wrong, that means someone has to take care of it. So taking up that, handling all those small crises is how I realized that this is something that you can do when you're thinking on your feet, and maybe I have the capability to do that. So that was the second moment for me. And the last one, I know is going to sound very weird, but I think it was a sport that I love. I love playing volleyball since I don't know how many years. But ever since I've been into the sport, I have realized that it takes a team to build something. You have to talk, you have to have interpersonal relations with everyone. You cannot just come on court one day and be like, okay, from tomorrow I am in your team. That can't happen. So you have to always keep in touch with whoever you're with. And I think that is something that I still do. I still keep in touch with all my previous mentors. And I think all first year, second years take notes. You should too. Always be in touch with your mentors, because later someday maybe you might need an internship from them, or they're just people who have guided you through it. They have given you those defining moments. So it's very important to stay in touch with them. So yeah, third was these interpersonal skills.
I mean, I truly agree with you, Shivangi. Like staying in touch with mentors have really helped me in those moments where I've thought that nothing else could be done here, or just it's going to go. Everything is just gonna crash down at this point. But to be honest, sometimes it is helpful that you hit rock bottom and then you build yourself up again. And mentors, your seniors, your loved ones actually help you through that process a lot. Now, coming on to your internship experience, where did you intern and how and what has been the most important lesson that you have learned during your internship? Uh, Shirisha, do you want to take over?
Yeah. So I interned with Grey, which is in Bangalore, and I worked in the account management department. One of the most important things I learned is that every tiny detail is important. The devil really lies in the details, because a campaign insight comes from even the minutest of details, and you can't miss anything. You have, when you're working with a brand, you have to know even the tiniest of things and to the most important things if if you want a campaign to be successful. So yeah, I realized that even the tiniest of things is important, and you can't ignore anything.
Definitely. And what about you, Shivangi?
So I interned with Weber Shandwick in Mumbai, and I was in the B2B tech team. So so I have this thing where I want to try out all sectors that are available to me, right? So I had always worked in consumer before. So this was my first time in working in the B2B sector, and I was really scared for it because as a person, I am also a consumer. So if you're working in the B2C department, you can think from the consumer's point of view. But when you're in the B2B department, I don't know what a business is thinking. I am not a business. So that was really challenging. So there were some important things that I learned. So the first one was that it is not just that you have to, like Sirisha said, the devil is in the details. You have to know your brand so well. Like it was tech. I have a knack for tech, yes, but I'm not an engineer or something. So hearing words like big data, IoT, I was really scared on the first day because RPM, I don't know any of that, right? So research, reading things, knowing what you want to do, knowing which sector suits you. So that is something that I learned from this internship, that okay, you do have a knack for tech, you just don't have to work in the consumer department. Then second was that you should always, so this was my first, all of our first offline internship experience, and we have always done internships online, yes, but offline is very different. When it is offline, you actually can talk to the person that's sitting on the other table, no matter which department they are in. So that is something that I used to actively do. I used to be proactive and go and talk to everyone who is in the office, no matter which sector they are in. So in that way, I could also realize that, oh, work also goes on like this in this department. And after a while, because they are very nice people, they actually start including you in all these things. That, oh, we are working on a campaign for the M&E department. Do you want to come in the brainstorming session? So you get to do a lot when things are offline, and you guys are really lucky that you guys are getting that hands-on experience in college, and you will get the same in the internship. So yeah, those were the two best things about my internship.
I mean, truly, when it is offline, everything is just right there, and it makes you feel that everything is so real. Because after 2 years of being in pandemic, things have sort of started feeling unrealistic to a point where you question what is happening. Like, but Chitra, would you say that being an intern and being in that work culture after being in college in a, I'll say in a sort of protective environment, you're just going out there completely. how was the experience, plus also the bonds that you made with the fellow interns or the people there? Was it daunting at first that, oh, I'm an intern and how I'm going to be treated there, or was it very welcoming for you?
So yeah, I interned at FCB Ulka. It's an advertising agency in Bombay. So number one, daunting, yes. Like I started the introduction with it that I was petrified entering that world, because even if I'm a very confident person in real life, I was entering the field of advertising. By the name of it, it's very complex, and I had no idea of what goes on in an ad agency. And I was entering the client servicing department, which can also go by the name of account management. So I went there the first day, and whenever like some people would ask me, are you here as a trainee, are you an MP, or are you an executive trainee? So I had this one habit of saying, no, I'm just an intern, just an intern. So my mentor, she said this one thing to me that why do you introduce yourself like that? That hi, I'm Chitra Raj and I'm just an intern. So is that how you're going to introduce yourself on your CV as well, that you're just an intern? So I said, no, I don't know. People mistake me for an MT or an ET. So like I want to tell them that no, I'm an intern. So she said, Ki, this is your building experience. You're just a 19-year-old. You're not just an intern. So, being just a 19-year-old, you can learn a lot from here, and we will get to learn a lot from you guys. Our assignments, even if they are tedious, the college assignments, they go to our portfolio. And this I learned during the internship period. Just this random brainstorming session or a chilling session we were having after office hours. And we had this one competition in college of Creaticon where we had to do rebranding of Nike. So Nike, the sportswear, was now going to become a fast food brand, and we had to rebrand it. And my team, we made the entire campaign of Nike Bite, a campaign that would last for 3 months. And that deck, I just like showed it to my team members. We were just chilling, and they were impressed, and they told me that this can go to my portfolio. So this is that how your assignments, or when you're having these thoughts, you if you're having a creative thought and you're building something, that goes to your portfolio. So those informal bonds along with the formal feedback that we have got in our internships have been very helpful. So yeah.
I mean, definitely having formal bonds as well. You sort of make them your mentors, and you get to learn a lot from the people who are basically giving you work. Now, Divyana, what would you say that? What would you say that? Can you tell us one incident or something where that really impacted you during the duration of your internship?
Okay, so unlike a lot of others, I didn't have the, I didn't have the fortune. I wasn't fortunate enough to have an offline internship because I was not getting placed within the internship period. That's another thing that's gonna happen. So I just want to let everyone know it's completely okay, and you shouldn't stress about it. So I ended up doing an online internship, and I went back home, back to Assam, and I did it. So firstly, it's very different when you're doing an online internship with a proper, media firm, because the thing is, it's very it's very to the point. Your conversations are very to the point, because you don't get to interact just as much as you would on a normal when you're offline scenario. So I think the incident that really was, I think the first task itself. So I was asked to update media lists. Okay, I was asked to update media lists. So what that entails is that they have all these companies have the media databases. Okay, which journalist works in which company, which publication, is that. And I had the task of updating it to see if these people were still working in these firms. It was a humongous task. Okay, it was a humongous task, and I immediately was like, what did I come into, like what did I put myself into, like is this what I'm going to do? And I got so worried, because it's like, when I say media list, it's not just, imagine an Excel sheet with 5 pages, and each page has like thousands of entries.
Oh my
Okay,
God,
so
that
it
is
is,
daunting.
and everything is like divided into region, into like state, into city, and it is crazy. There's so many categories and subcategories. So I was very overwhelmed, and I was really, because again, I was doing an online internship, right? So I was really scared to, like, I don't know, to approach my supervise and be like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, but I'm not sure how to do this. Like, I didn't know what to say because I thought, like, it come across as I'm underprepared or whatever it was. And then the thing is, I did eventually, because I didn't want to, like, half-heartedly do my task. So I took up the courage and I asked her, I'm like, I'm sorry, ma'am, but can you please explain, like, what exactly, like, do I have to do, what it entails, because I'm really sorry, I'm not sure. And the thing is, she was so, welcoming about it, and she guided me through the entire process, and she didn't treat me, or she didn't make me feel like I knew less in any way. And that's when I realized, it's okay. I'm just 20 years old and I'm still doing my degree and I'm still learning. And that's what they made me feel. And that's, I think, it's really important, because then it's like, then you can ask more, right? Then you can know more. Then you can actually say, I don't know. And it's okay to not know. I think that's what was really important for me to understand, because I had this entire, image in my head that I have to know everything. I have to be fully prepared. I have to do the best in everything that I do. And it's not like that. It's not. It's very simple. They have been there, they're experienced professionals, and they will guide you in the way you want them to. And that's amazing, I think.
Yeah, you see, that's the thing. We are at times I feel we are hesitant to ask because we just feel that we are just so young into this. I'm so sorry for the noise. But we feel that we're so young into this and they know a lot better, so I should be more well prepared. But that's what you did. That's what I learned from you, Divyana, from your experience, that asking is always better. I'm going to apply that in my next internship. Now, moving on, what would you say that that how has your internship experience changed your outlook on the industry, Shivangi?
Okay, so I think like all of us have mentioned that when we used to think of the corporate world, we used to think of this very cutthroat, competitive thing that is going to
Oh my
kill
God,
us
yes,
because
yes.
we won't be able to survive. We are only 20-year-olds. We were very scared. We were genuinely very scared because all we had heard of the corporate world was through series and through movies, which have always showed workplace conflicts. So that is something that is the one thing that has changed, and I'm really happy that it has changed. That I have realized that it is not that. People are genuinely nice, and people genuinely want you to learn. So like even when I was at Weber, when I first went, I was like, oh my god, why would they care about my opinion? I am just an intern. If even in a meeting, I would always like, for the first 2 days I actually stayed very quiet in the meeting, and every time after the meeting I used to tell my mentor that, while you were discussing this, I was thinking that maybe we can apply this to the campaign, maybe we can do that about the campaign. And after 2 days he just straight up told me, why don't you say all of this during the meeting? You just have to unmute yourself and say it. Don't be that shy. Like, you're not shy when you're saying it to me. Why are you shy when you're saying it to other people? So at that time, I was like Divyana said, be frank in whatever you believe in. So I was frank. I told him that I didn't know that my opinion matters or that I can give you the suggestion right there. I thought it is not my place to say it. And that's when they explained it to me that even though we all work at different levels, even though my tag is just of an intern, they value our opinions a lot, because I think everyone in this college should remember that we are the fresh perspective that this industry itself is looking for, be it ad or PR. We are the perspective that they are looking for. Yes, they have more experience. Yes, they've been working in that industry for a really long time, but that is what they're working in the industry for a really long time. They don't know what this generation wants or what this generation requires. So they want that from us. They are trying to pick our brains with different things. They're throwing different questions at us at all times, only because they want to know our opinions and not because they are trying to grill us. Ki, oh, isko nahi aata hoga, isko ye puchte hain. It is never that. So I think that is something that you should always keep in mind. And yeah, confidence says it all. If you have the confidence, if you have a good idea, even if you're not that confident in it, just say it to someone. They'll help you brainstorm. Don't think that this world is out to get you, because maybe everyone's trying to help you. So yeah, that.
Definitely. I feel that this perspective has been influenced a lot by Bollywood, that when once you go to the corporate world, it's going to be very cruel to you, very cutthroat, it's going to eat you up like anything. But it is only when you enter the industry that you feel, you understand that yes, you are just a beginner, true, but you also have your unique ideas with you and you're always open to learn. So, Shirisha, how has your outlook changed in that perspective?
Okay, so see, firstly, I walked into this industry like on the first day of my work, thinking that I'm just an intern. They're probably going to make me sit in one corner or get them coffee, or probably just make me do a small clerical job.
The
And
basic stereotype.
yeah, I was asked to report at 10 a.m., but I just ended up being there at 9:30 because I didn't want to be late on the first day of work. So I sat there for around 2 hours actually. And then I realized, then to my surprise, I went into this entire spiral. I was like, what's happening? Do they not want me to work? What's happening? I was just so clueless. Then I realized that agency work is actually chill and relaxed. People turn up only after like 10:30, 11, and that's when work begins. So on my first day, I was given a small task, and I was really scared of everyone because it was a new environment, and it's not something I'm comfortable with. Going out and working for someone, it's something new, right? So I was given a small task, and they really loved my perspective on that particular task. That one of my seniors got me brownies. So that was like a truly reward. I was like, every day I'm gonna work this hard and just get rewards and appreciation because I kind of like it. So yeah, and I can't ask for help. Like whatever it is, I like finding my way through things myself. That was actually a problem for me because there's so much new, there's so much we don't know about, and I used to feel unsure to ask for help. But then they realized it. My mentors were really helpful in that way. They came to me and used to teach me so many new things, not from their previous experiences. They helped me interact with other departments because I wasn't sure that I wanted to do account management in future. So they helped me interact with the SEM team, with the media planning team, and so on. And when I do some work, I like to get done with it without any distractions. So they were so kind enough to even get me coffee to my table. I don't think anyone got that, but yeah, an intern was served coffee. So yeah,
Oh
my
my God,
notion
this
towards the
has just
industry
been.
completely changed. Yeah, it was a 360-degree turn, and I absolutely love the agency experience. Yeah, that's pretty much my experience
I mean,
in the
definitely
industry.
being served coffee. That's, oh my God,
Yeah,
I want that experience as well
and
now.
celebrating your tiny achievements with samosa parties
Yeah,
and salad parties is just so memorable for a 20-year-old. Yeah,
definitely. And it also makes you very happy to see that the
yeah,
environment
exactly.
you're working in is very supportive and friendly. Because if you don't have that, literally, even if you love your work, you cannot work there. Environment matters. So, what do you have to say on that, Divyana?
I think in that sense, can you hear me? Yeah. Because
Yes, yes,
my
yes.
device was glitching. I'm so sorry. So in that sense, I think I do agree because as I said, pointed out in my first internship, because the environment was so welcoming, it really helped me, like, come out of my shell. And for this one, actually, I'm pretty happy because, so the thing is, because our communication was very, on, very to the point and everything, I actually preferred it that way personally, because for me, because I was not offline, so I would never be that, privy to their office culture because I'm not there physically. So in that sense, I think I like the fact that mine was, however it was happening, it was completely to the point. I had to do my work. These were my tasks for the day. So in that sense, I didn't have any extra pressure per se, because my office was hours compared to like the others who did offline work was much more flexible. So in that case, when it's flexible, the thing is you don't realize where you're overstepping your boundaries, in the sense, when do you actually have to, because they were very open to, like, just by the end of the day, you send me these tasks, that they'll, assign you a few tasks. And so in that sense, I was really happy how they were interacting. They were very professional, which I really respect. I always respect professionalism in I'm so sorry, one second. Yeah. Like, this is one thing I really respect: professionalism when it comes to, like a workspace. Because I as a person, I don't want to overstep my boundaries at any point, thinking if I'm like, I don't want to get too comfortable. That's the exact term I would like to use myself. So in that sense, they were always very professional to the point. Even when it came to like giving me feedback, even they were very constructive in the criticism. They were not necessarily scolding me. They were actually giving me constructive criticism and feedback. See, okay, this is where you have gone wrong, or this is the perspective you could have taken with this particular, article, or this particular task. So I think in that sense, for me personally, it really worked. Like that professional, the space. It wasn't necessarily, I think for people, the first thing the students think when they think is a professional environment has to be very cold-hearted, in the sense, nobody cares about you, you don't have to care about. It's not about that. It's about respecting the boundaries and actually, getting work done in the most efficient way possible, without stepping on anyone's toes. So I really like that personally.
So as we're talking about boundaries, Chitra, so did you ever feel that you were hesitant to approach anyone because of that structure that the industry follows, and also that how concerned is the industry about the employees' mental health, or is it just in the writing that you know we are concerned, but they aren't really? How has your experience been in that sense?
I mean, funny thing how you raised that question to me, because that was what I was going to talk about, even if you would have asked about my experience, about the structure actually. So, like all of us had that stereotype of the devil wears Prada, of how an intern is treated. You'd go in, you have to bring in coffee, you have to get the staples and the photocopies done. But gladly, that didn't happen. If anything, at FCB, we were involved in everything from the brainstorming session. Now, I joined the client servicing department, but I always had this inclination for copy because I like to write. So this thing happened that we were involved in the brainstorming session of copy department as well, as soon as our mentors learned about our interests. So in terms of hierarchy, what happened was I thought I'm an intern, like I thought I'm just an intern. So I would sit with the interns, work with them. And whenever some work is assigned to me, I'll go and sit with my team who are there. There are executives and managers and director. But then I saw that just on the first day of the internship, the directors or the VPs are coming and sitting and having lunch with us and having coffee with us. This was something I hadn't expected. I thought the hierarchy exists in the industry. So while speaking to the VP or while proposing some sort of ideas or some proactive ideas, if you have and you're proposing them, you have to be very cautious. That wasn't the case. There wasn't that hierarchical structure that was followed. In terms of reporting authorities, yes, but people were so accommodative, so inclusive. They would take into account your opinions. They would come and ask you for your opinions. Like Shivangi mentioned, that they want our perspective in that domain, because we are the young populace are the prime TG for any of the brands. Basically, when they have to create that want in people's eyes, or they have to create that need, they want our perspectives and the fresh perspective that comes into place. They recognize that and they appreciate that. So the structure and the structure politics of it, I never got to experience it, touchwood. As for mental health as well, like I remember moving to a different city, and a city as chaotic, as busy, and as draining as Bombay was difficult. So there were times that it got to me a lot, the entire traveling bit of it. Or it was monsoon, so rainy season sucked in Bombay. So yeah, whenever we needed a day off, or maybe like I just had to ask my mentor that okay, I might not be available for these hours because of this and this reason, and they were more than reasonable and accommodative about that. So even in that department, I have been very lucky during my internship period.
Can I
It is
just add
definitely.
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but can I just add to like this
Yes,
entire
yes,
thing?
yes, definitely.
Like,
Go ahead.
because so for adding a little bit, I'm just like, honestly, a lot of us were very lucky, at least with this internship period, because we were working with a lot of good companies, and because we got these internships through our college. And our college is a very thorough screening process. They always take the students feedback into accord and everything. But I just want to talk about this one internship experience I had. That was my own personal experience in between, which was honestly not as conducive. So I just want to give a stark reality that it's not always going to be all sunshine and rainbows. That's one thing. Like, as students, we all have to be ready to accept that there will be, at least if not all, at least one experience that might not, live up to your expectations, or actually might be really draining for you. And but the thing is, you have to take it in stride. There's a very stark difference between knowing your worth and just, letting someone run all over you. Okay, you cannot have arrogance as you're going into the industry, for sure. But it also doesn't mean that you don't understand your own self-worth and just take whatever comes at you. Because I have had friends who have had really bad, internship experiences with their supervisors, and I have personally had it, like, and on top of that, it was an unpaid internship that I did. And the amount of the way they treated me, I at the end of it, I was very, I was very disheartened, honestly. And then my friends were there, and in times like this, you really need to rely on your seniors, your peers, and you need to talk to them about it. Because the thing is, you might not realize the place you're in, and you might not realize what's happening to you, but you don't deserve that, because you are putting in 100%. If you are putting in 100% and you know it, and you're not being appreciated for it, honestly, you need to, like, in that position, you need to take a call in that sense. So I'm just trying to draw a picture here, because with these internships, we're pretty lucky. But whenever you strive out into your own, there might be experiences that are not so savory, they're kind of unsavory, basically.
I mean, definitely. Even I think those unpleasant experiences are very, very important. Like you said, Divyana, like you pointed it out, that you need to know your worth. And when you have had that unpleasant experience, you know which kind of atmosphere, what kind of atmosphere you want to be in, and how you want to be treated. So I think that really helps even when you get an unpleasant or go through an unpleasant experience. Now that you guys have been back from your internships, how can you say that what have been your takeaways that are helping you right now in your classroom learnings? Shirisha.
Okay, one thing for sure is that I used to work from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. So you can't really sleep in your office, right? So it's helping me stay awake in college, attend all classes. So that's one. But apart from that, my key takeaways would be that I actually got an insight into the industry, how it works out there. So now I'm able to connect whatever I'm learning with what as, into the industry like perspective. Like we get an assignment on say CRM, customer relationship management. I actually bring in the perspective, a consumer's perspective. How would they want to be treated, or what policies can we make? What ideas can we bring in? So the entire mindset has changed in that way, because when you start thinking like a consumer, start thinking from an advertiser's perspective, you get so many other ideas. You know how to do things better. So yeah, that has been my key takeaway. I know how the industry functions now, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
And does it now make you feel comfortable? Okay, now I know what is happening in the industry, and I'm not so scared as I was in the
Yeah.
beginning.
Yeah, very much. I'm actually excited about my next industry internship. I can't wait to go back to the industry and see what it has in store for me.
So it definitely builds up the love to work.
Yeah.
What would you say about that, Chitra?
I mean, yes, for me, the biggest learning that I am trying to apply today is to articulate things better. Because whenever we had those proactive idea session or those brainstorming session, one thing that I struggled with was so I love creative writing. And with that, what happens is sometimes you go verbose with it. You have this one idea and you tend to go on and on and on about it. So that's what I did with while proposing my ideas. So there was this one time that we had to propose certain ideas for advertisements for the festivals that were coming up: Ganesh Chaturthi, Independence Day, and this one more festival, Raksha Bandhan. So when we presented our ideas, after that, the feedback that I got were a little like, okay, but I don't understand this, I don't understand that. So I was pretty harsh on myself, and I was very upset with myself that, okay, what has happened? I consider myself a very creative person. Then where are those creative juices? So one time I went to the office and I spoke to the creative people, and like I asked them what was the problem, and the creative director, he told me that even if somebody likes your ideas, they need to be presented well. So even if you have an idea, you need to know what's the key word in it, or what's the proposal factor. How do you want to twist it and propose it, or what side do you want people to see? So that's the one learning that I am trying to apply and I am going to better myself at is how to articulate things better and how to propose things better.
Yeah, definitely. And what has been that learning for you, Shivangi?
So I just wanted to share something before the thing that you asked to Chitra about mental health and if they really support it or is it just on paper. So
Yes.
yeah, like Divyana said, it is not all rainbows and butterflies and unicorns, but luckily it was for me. It has been, and so this is just something that deserves to be out there because someone put that much effort. So while I was in Bombay for like 2 months, I hate the city. You can romanticize it all you want. I hate
Guys,
it.
come to Bangalore. I've already said it. I'll say it again. Come to Bangalore.
Yeah, so I hated Mumbai at the time because it was raining all the time, and I am someone who loves the rain. Okay, and Mumbai made me hate rains. So so I was by after the first month I got really sad about it and I was really homesick because I hadn't been home for like 8 months before that, and suddenly I'd come to Bombay and I was hating Bombay. So so my mentor one day at lunch, he just asked me that, why are you so quiet suddenly? You're always so chatty. You don't stop speaking. Why are you not speaking today? And I told him that I've been feeling a bit homesick and whatnot and everything. So he actually put in enough because he's Gujarati and I live in Gujarat. So on the last day of my internship, he actually brought in my favorite Gujarati dish, home cooked for me. And I was just like, that is so sweet. Okay, thank you so much. You guys really like me. So yeah, it is not all butterflies and rainbows, but if you're lucky enough, it might as well. So yeah, that, and yeah, some of my key takeaways from the whole internship period, which has been really important in my classroom learning these days as well, is that now that when professors teach us that okay, this is something that happens and this is how you're supposed to do it, I can actually correlate it to what I've done in my internship because they don't always, as an intern, they don't always give you the whole big picture. They might tell you that, okay, you have to do research for this, and it is for maybe, say, some interview that is going to happen. Okay. So they won't really give you the whole picture at all times because they also have a lot of work. But now, when we're being taught, okay, so this research is not only helpful here, but market research is important there, where all it applies. So I can now actually connect all the ties myself that it is all very it is all very structured in the corporate world. It is all very professional, yes, but what you're being taught in the classroom is everything that you will have to do there. Just you won't have the name ki हाँ ये specialization के इस subject का assignment है. Now at right now when I'm doing my assignments, I can literally relate it to everything that I've done in my internships. So the relation that I have finally found that okay, this is classroom learning and this is how you apply it. Because all throughout school, we only used to learn things, ke, haan, theory, theory, theory. There was no practical. Now you actually know that, okay, this is the practical and this is the theory behind it. And this is how it is important. And this is how you are important to the brand. Because they can't really do it on their own. That's why they need you. So yeah, that is something that I learned from this internship period.
So in a way, like internships bridge the gap between your classroom learnings and your practical learning, basically telling you really how it is to be done. And also, thank you for sharing your experience. I think we all need to hear that not always are we going to get internships at a good environment that really supports us, but definitely we're going to find people there who have our backs always. On that note, Divyana, what would you say that what has been your main takeaway from your internship?
I think my main takeaway is two things. Number one is patience. Okay. The patience not only to, do projects, but also patience with people. Because I'm someone who's very, who works at her own pace. And I've realized that a lot of people work a lot of at different paces, and things happen at a different pace. Sometimes, you cannot rush a process. So I think that's one of the main things I've realized, and the second thing is mental fortitude, in the sense that so when I first, like when I came to SCMC, even in school, so I'm someone who who's very passionate about things. Okay, so when I have an idea, I'm very stubborn about, like, okay, this is how I see the idea. It's a very one-way street. So the thing is, when it's usually rejected, or even for something like an assignment where I've given my 100% and I don't really score a lot due to different reasons, I will not take it very well, honestly. That was my first thing, that I would be very disheartened in the sense, okay, what went wrong? I think I was like, okay, like, am I not fit for this? So I take it in a very different manner altogether. But I think that's what happened with this internship particularly, is that I learned that it sometimes takes time to actually properly perfect the idea that you have, and sometimes it doesn't work, and that's all right. And that doesn't reflect anything about you per se. It's just how it is for that particular project or that particular circumstance. So I think that's something that's really important for me to take away, is that everything takes time, and that every you need small little failures sometimes, and small little defeats, to actually get the bigger picture. So
Yes, I mean, failures are certainly very important. They tell you what you're lacking, where you're lacking, whether be it in your capabilities or basically in your lifestyle, because that also interferes a lot. We are nearing towards the end of our live session, and my last question might be extra helpful to us freshers who have just joined in. So keep an ear out for that, freshers. What's that one thing, according to you, that every first year student should explore at least once in or around the campus? Shirisha.
Every first year student, right? So participate all you want. You're not going to get back your college life. Given your best, participate actively, but along with participation, also go ahead and help organize fest and events, be it Satrang, Madhyam, Devidya, because I honestly had a blast. I formed some crazy memories and unforgettable bonds, and bonds that will stay with me for a lifetime during those times. So yeah, the entire team spirit, the excitement that these fests hold, don't ever miss them for anything. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
What would you say, Chitra?
I mean, yes, that was the reason why I joined SCMC. Like, I saw SCMC's Instagram page. I saw this one highlight of something called Revidya. I didn't know what that was. So I have joined this college primarily for fests. So I would say +1 to whatever Sirisha said. Come, organize fest with us. Take part in whatever you want. Now, see, I do not know how to dance. Okay, I'm a complete non-dancer. But last year we had a musical. Just I had to learn how to dance because the character required that. So do things that challenge you, of course. Go out of your comfort zone. And one thing that you have to explore is Viman. It's your first year. Go around, have fun. Whatever you have heard in the poetry or like through your seniors, go sit at the bus stop at odd hours. Go have fun. Go just enjoy life and don't overburden yourself with a lot of things. Like, be part of things, but don't be too harsh on yourselves. It's okay if you're not scoring that well in academics. Like, I know 12th तक अगर आदत होती है कि 10 on 10 वाले पेपर में 10 on 10 आ रहे हैं या 9.5 आ रहे हैं और इधर assignments में आते हैं you're getting like 5 and 6, please don't get disheartened. Has happened to all of us, will be happen to you. So yeah, just have fun is all.
Yeah, definitely, like you said, explore Viman. Even I'd say just go, just walk, and you'll see the real Viman, especially during this time when the weather is so good. Viman is altogether a different feeling. What would you say, Shivangi?
So, because you guys are just out of school and you're just here, adulting seek lo, guys. It is very important. You you do not know, like we especially. So even after 12th, our batch stayed home for a year. तो हमको घर की आदत पड़ गई थी. ठीक है, we were like, हाँ ठीक है, पानी चाहिए, मम्मी लाके देगी. It was, we were so in our shells, and when we finally, and we all became friends online. तो हमारा तो अलग ही चल रहा था. When we came here, like Chitra said, Viman, it is not that you're going to find everything that you're. It is not like Macquarie, it is a city of dreams and whatnot. But seriously telling you, Viman is your first friend here. Viman can be your first friend here. Go on walks, like, yeah, you might have taken up too many things by mistake. You might have enrolled in 4 competitions, 3 internships, and whatnot. But okay, take 10 minutes, go on a walk with your friends, have fun. Raat ko LIG pe jao. Garlic Maggie khao, please. Do not have the normal Maggie. Have fun, because this is like Chitra said, you're not going to get your college life back. These are the years that you are going to get to explore so much, like not just in academics and all. That is always there. That is a constant in your life. Hamesha seekhte rehna. But you are going to explore yourself as a person. You're going to learn so many new things about yourself. Okay, oh, I did not know that I can do that. Like, try new things. There are so many sports here. There are so many events here. If you're scared, कि हाँ ठीक है मैं competition में जाऊंगी, oh my God, I'm going to, be embarrassed of myself. Go, just do it, because you are not going to make a fool of yourself in front of people who you are going to be with for the next 3 years. क्योंकि अगले 3 सालों में तुम उनका जो रूप देखने वाले हो, वो कोई और नहीं देख रहा है. You are going to know everything about each other, and it is going to be so fun. These 3 years are like, you are going to make friends जिनको तुम अचानक से after say 2 years call करोगे, and they'll be like, oh, तो अभी भी यही करता है? Are you still like that? Are you still listening to the same song after 5 years? It is a very wholesome experience. So let it be. Let Viman happen to you. Don't stop yourself from experiencing things. Just go out of your comfort zone, try new things, talk to new people. Koi achanak se, if you see bus stand pe some seniors are sitting, don't just be like, oh shit, seniors, I should just run away. Go talk to them. We are all very chill. We actually love talking to you guys क्योंकि हम एक दूसरे की शक्ल देख के बोर हो चुके हैं. So come talk to people. Just do new things. Don't be in that shell ke, oh shit, they are seniors, or if she is doing that, I can't do that. Don't really do that. Go out of your way, do all fests. जो काम मिले सब करो, because बाद में प्रोजेक्ट स्टेटस के लिए तुम्हें वो काम फिर से करना ही पड़ेगा. So अभी मन से कर लो.
I'd like to add on and say that if it gets overwhelming, it's okay to take some time off, to spend time with yourself, spend time alone. Just walk around Viman, play music, and everything will honestly feel better.
Definitely. I mean, walking around alone itself is a very different feeling on days when you're very exhausted. You just don't want any interaction. Just being by yourself is the best thing. And also, like Shivangi said, that, don't be hesitant to, talk to seniors, because I feel I was hesitant at first, initially, but when I started to open up, I cannot tell you, but I made the best memories with the second years and the third years, and I'm so grateful for that. So please do reach out and just have conversations, because over here the atmosphere is really supportive and friendly. It's just gets better. What do you have to say about that, Divyana?
So firstly, I will agree to Shivangi about the people, who listen to the same song. Sirisha is one of them. 5 forget, 10 years later also she'll listen to the same song, some senti Bollywood song she'll be listening to. So yeah, I agree to that. And I think what I want to say is something that, like, all of them have talked about it, and it's just something along those lines itself. I just want to come to a conclusion with that, is the fact that the first thing is you need to learn how to be alone. That's the biggest thing. I am someone who's constantly with a friend. My friends are my personality, honestly. Like, and everyone out here knows that. Okay, if you see me in college, I'm always like with people, and I love that. I love my friends, and that's the biggest thing I think SCMC has given me. That's my friends. I have met some amazing people, and I'm grateful for that. But I've also learned that, for a very long time I was not very comfortable being alone, doing things alone. Because a lot of times that's what holds you back. To try something new. Ki akele nahi karna hai. Like, maybe it's a little weird, I don't want to be the only one doing this. Isn't that odd? Don't think about that. Never let anything hold you back. You want to say something, say it. You have an idea, say it. You don't like something, say it. Because if you don't start now, you'll never start. And that's something that's really important. Learning to be comfortable with yourself. And then everything else will fall into place. Trust me. You'll know what feels right when and what doesn't. And even if you don't, there are always people. It's a very supportive community, and you'll always have people to tell you, or at least advise you how you want them to be there for you. So it's an amazing place, and you need to let yourself just be and experience that.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Divyana. And I hope this session has been really informative and helpful to everyone. To be very honest, it just gave me a real insight into what the industry, the internships and industry is, and how the placement scenario works. Even if you have any questions or doubts, you can always reach out to our seniors. They're always there, ready to help you. So thank you so much for joining in today, Divyana, Shirisha, Chitra, and Shivangi. It was an amazing session, quite frankly. And thank you so much, audience, for also joining in and taking out your time. On that note, I'd like to end the session. Thank you so much once again, and see you at the next live. Thank you.
Thank you.